Hey guys, welcome back to the third season of the PBO, or the first video that I'm doing for the third season PBO. Third season of the PBO, I should say. Anyway, you get the idea. Yes, it's true, we're back. It's the season 2 champ, the returning champ, the defending champ is back to play in season 3. As you guys can see, I just needed something on the screen, so we just loaded up our previous season builder. And yeah, so yep, we're back for this third season. There has been some adjustments, some changes to the format and some tiering stuff, so I'll kind of give you guys a rundown real quick. Maybe there'll be a timestamp in the video description when we just get to our team, because we also just did the draft, so we have a team to go over and analyze and all that good stuff for you guys. Let you know who we're repping for the season. But more importantly, or I guess the least importantly, some changes have been done to the PBO. So as you guys know, we did play in season 2 and we did win, subtle flex, but you know, it had some quirks, you know, had some unique aspects of draft league that, you know, you don't see in every draft league, right? So one was, it was a best of 3 for and that was interesting. We used that a lot. We took some L's game 1 and then would bounce back 1-2, win back to back, so that was nice. But that is no longer a thing. We just moved to the standard best of 1 format, which I think is fun and I think is interesting. It makes tech, like really cool specific techs and setup and stuff, really easy. Or not easy, sorry. It makes them more effective, more surprising, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's cool. And with them, and also we don't have to, like, on game 1, we don't have to, like, try to hide tech, or we don't have to hide information with the opponent. It's just much simpler to play, so that's fine. It's way easier to play too. It's less stressful. I don't have to play 3 nerve-wracking games, for example. So yep, it's best of 1 now, so hopefully we don't choke like we did in in our first battles last season, but that's okay. And then also, as you guys maybe didn't know, but maybe you could have, you know, noticed, or maybe you're an avid VGC player, we had item clause last season. So that means, you know, every mod had to have a unique item, which made it really interesting. As you guys saw, like, I was trying to run leftovers on Quag and leftovers on Vaporeon at the same time, and that obviously was not allowed. So that has been done with as well. That's just gone. We can now run 6 leftover Pokemon or 6 choice scarf Pokemon, no punishment. So feels good, man. And those are the 2 big ones. I guess about the tiering, just on the side. Basically, what happened after we won the tournament, people were like, Terra Bax does a lot of damage and I can't switch into it. And so Terra was kind of revised, I should say. Revised, yeah, revised, you get what I'm saying, right? It was looked at again. And so there was different calibers of tiers, different types of tiers with different points. And all you guys really need to know is the top end, the highest tier, which was red tier, they cannot Terra, and so that's your King Gambits, your Tusks, your Landorises, your Garchomps, right? You get the idea. Like, all the insanely powerful Oumon in the past, or all the super ridiculous asinine mons we got in Gen 9. Shout out to Mr. Gambito himself. You can't Terra. It was not allowed. So that was one. And then the Terra system itself has, you know, a slight tweak, just a little bit tweak, a little change of, you know, is, how does this go? So there's you can have 2 options for your Terra captains. The first option is to pick basically what I would call a middle tier mon, right? So a lot of UU mons, some RU mons, some NU mons, you know, like a lot of UU mons, a lot of mons that, you know, have good stats, but, you know, maybe they're type, you know, something's holding them back. Anyway, those mons, the middle tier mons, which this will make a lot more sense when I go through the draft and show you guys our picks. They can Terra. Obviously, you can only have 1 Terra captain for this option. You can only have 1 Terra captain, and they get 3 types this season. 3 types to Terra into. Not 2 like the previous season, where for us we had Dragon and Fairy on backs. This season, for example, if I had backs this season, I could have went oh, I would for sure go Dragon Fairy, and then my last one would probably be Steel, or maybe Ground or something, right? Like, you know what I mean? So you get 3 types for your 1 Terra Captain now, so that's cool. And so that's option 1, right? You get a higher point Mon, you know, a middle tier Mon, higher point Mon, 3 Terra types, easy breezy, no problem. And then the second option, which I think is much more interesting, I don't know how good it is, but it sounds fun, is you can actually have a lower tier captain. So you can only have one or the other. You can't have like oh yeah, I'm gonna make my Skeledirge, maybe a good example, you know what I mean. I'm gonna make my Moltres Terra, and then like, actually the Dunsparce is gonna tear it too. Like, you can only have one or the other. Anyway, you can have 2 Terra Captains in this situation, and that spans across a lot of tiers, a lot of tiers and a lot of points. So there's some variation in strength, and they as well get 3 types. Yet, one of those types for both options, 1 and 2, one of those types do have to be one of your stabs. That has not changed. So when we get to our draft, you will see, similar to last year, I picked a Mon that actually used one of its stab typings well, and not just like, yeah, you know, guys, I really need the go back to Skeledirge. I need Skeledirge, and I'm gonna make my Skeledirge a pure, like, I don't know, fire type. You know, like, it's not bad, but it's not great. You know what I mean? I really want to maximize the usage out of the Terra system, and I think with that, I think that's it. I think those are the big changes. Terra's a little different. Tia's not a big deal, but just so you guys know, the points were really weighted, I guess, in a way, so you could have some like higher tier mons and stuff, but we are very incentivized to use lower tier mons, which is cool. I think drafted lower tier mons are very fun and very unique. I don't need to queue up into a draft game and see Heatran, Great Tusk every fucking game. I don't, right? That's okay. But so just when you guys see our draft, keep in mind the points were pretty weighted to having a lower tier set. Maybe I should go this way. Anyway, yeah, so that's important. We talked about best of ones now, so that's should create opportunities for really spicy sets and really cool tech to come out. Yeah, best of one. Oh, no more item clauses, so I can run 6,000 leftover mods. Yep, I think that's it. And so with that, I've held you guys up long enough. Fucking 8 minutes of talking, like, my bad, sorry for breathing. And let's just get into the Season 3 draft for the Wichita Weavers. Boom! Okay. So this is an order of the way we picked them, just so you guys know. Okay, so first things first is we did pick Iron Treads. You know, this is very interesting, because I can't say I've used Iron Treads an extensive amount. But I have some strong opinions about Iron Treads. So 1, I think Iron Treads has an amazing typing, right? Crazy typing. Oh, change background. What the fuck? Anyway, right? He has that Excadrill typing, really crazy mon, right? Super awesome. I mean, I'm a huge Excadrill fanboy, but whatever. So it's a very good typing, you know. In draft, I find it's really important to have your steel type and a ground type. Obviously not the same mon, but you know, like, they're 2 very important defensive typings. This is gonna help us kill fairies. This is very good. And then Iron Tread specifically has some crazy, like, basically this mon can do a lot of things. So let's just talk about support moves, right? It has knockoff, stealth rocks, rapid spin. It's probably the best. I think it's probably the best rapid spin you can get in draft. Great Tusk is fantastic, but like, this mon also gets Volt Switch. You know what I mean? Like, look at this. This right here, like, 4 support moves go crazy. It has Ice Spinner, good coverage. You know, it's that Headbutt, Wild Charge, some coverage moves, no problem. It gets Body Press. Endeavor, if I gotta get cheeky with it. Mega Horn, like, it got some coverage moves, okay? No slouch, no slouch. Rock up with my Steel Roller and a one-shot your terrain mons, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, like, I think it's very cool. Not to mention, like, this mon can run a whole plethora of items, right? We can use Assault Vest, we could use Booster Energy, Boots, like, you name it, this mon can run it. And its stat distribution also is so good, right? Like, this speed tier, you know, you get the 142, you get the 142 speed tier, which is super unique speed tier. 112 attack, not too shabby. 120 defense is crazy good, to be honest. 90 HP is awesome, and then, like, again, it has amazing typing to back these stats up. I was really happy that we got this pick 1. I think this is incredible. An incredible support mon, a fantastic steel type, and it's a ground type that it's a very versatile ground type, which I find is not something you always get in drafts. You sometimes, usually I would say you get your supportive grounds, and that, or like your bulky grounds maybe is what I should say. Powdons, your Sandacondas, you know, half the time Garchomp is a bulky ground, right? And it's cool, and they're helpful, they get rocks up, and they status, and they do things, and that's cool. But they don't, like, exert this much fucking power, you know? And then we got a steel typing as well, which is awesome. Got heavy slam, I believe. I think she gets heavy slam. She get heavy slam? Little bro? Little bro, do you get heavy slam? You do get heavy slam. So right, like I think this mon is incredible typing. It's really versatile. It's the best spinner in the game. I'll say it to the day I die. I'm very excited to use that in treads. I have no idea I'm gonna nickname it, but it's gonna be great. This was our red tier pick. So then we move on to our orange tier pick, and this is where we start getting into what I would call the mid tiers, or like the middle tiers maybe. It's not just mid mons. And then next up, I know you see him on the list. We have Haxorus. I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, didn't you just win Season 2 with a Dragon type that has a 145 attack stat? And you were like, wow, this seems really balanced, that I can just click a move and kill things? Well, yeah. You must not be new here. You must be a... you must know me so well, Mr. Viewer. Yes, that was the case last season. I did just click Glaive Rush, and I did win the league because of it. This one does not have Glaive Rush, but this one does have a 147 attack stat. Like, I'm very excited to use Haxorus. I am unbelievably, like, I just did that. This dude has a 400 attack stat, no boost. Like, oh, I'm so excited to use Haxorus. Okay, so Haxorus. First off, big fan of Haxorus. Always has been. Even in the anime and shit, huge Iris fan. You know, Iris has actually running around like a menace. Like, I love that shit. First things first. When I saw the Terra system, you get three Terra types this season. I was like, wow, there's gonna be a lot of mons that can really fucking abuse that. Like, when I say abuse, I mean like, you know, want to use one of their original typings and then 2 other ones. And what does that look like? So when I went through the list, I thought about, oh, like, what happens if you just took Haxorus? Obviously, it's a pure dragon, so it can only be dragon type. But then you have extra dragon stab, which makes Dragon Claw equivalent to a regular outrage, which is, like, insane to think about, right? Like, that's how the numbers work. That's pretty good. And then I was like, oh, like, let's look at what Haxorus got this gen, right? Because I know they got some changes. It got close combat. Oh. Like, close combat. Yes. Very punishable move. I just click a 120 base power move. Oh, that's very cool. Obviously, Earthquake is OG. We got Dragon Dance in here. We got First Impression. Like, oh, now we're talking more like Choice Band Haxorus comes in. What if I just come in, Terra Fight, you know what I'm saying? And then just ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Just like that, okay? And beat their face in. Maybe. So yeah, I think this mon does a lot of damage. It just has really incredible base power moves, right? 90's really pretty good. We have CC, we have EQ, First Impression, Iron Head to hit your fairies, Poison Jab to hit your fairies, Rock Slide just in case you got a flying type, SD Taunt, Dragon Dance, you name it. Like, this mon has, I would say, maybe, you know, a dozen good moves. And it's just gonna beat your ass. That's how I feel. I feel like this mon's very good. Again, it can run. It's like Bax. This really is like Bax Light, where like it can be fucking Scarf, it could be Band, it could be, you know, any kind of resist berry. It has so many options, like item wise. And yeah, and then we have these abilities, which I was kind of a hater on, right? Like, who the fuck uses Unnerve? Like, what a shit ability, right? Normally, that is correct, you uneducated viewer. But, like, in Draft League, dog, what happens if I just rock up and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna now hit you for, you know, 1 billion damage, because again, 400 attack stat, non-boosted. If we get one Dragon Dance up, boys, like, we're talking, y'all wanna do that? That is 600 attack. 600! If we SD, it's 800. Like, this Finn hits like a truck. This is insane, actually. What the fuck? Anyway, sorry. Right? Like, oh, like, I'm gonna hit your fairy type now with a 600, 800 attack, stat, fucking poison jab or iron head or something, and your berry doesn't matter because of unnerve. Wow, that's actually useful. No cap, it is. Like, okay, cool. Like, unnerve adds some value here. We're never running fucking rivalry. It's fucking cringe. True. And Mold Breaker is crazy good, because Mold Breaker lets me set up on unaware mons, for example, which is insane to think about. That like Haxorus just says "fuck you, Mr. Quagsire" and sets up and kills you. Like, that's insane, right? I mean, Mold Breaker affects a lot of things. I have a whole fucking list here. Shout out to Smogon. Because I don't know what this shit works as, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit, like, some mons heavily rely on their ability. Like Fur Coat. Like, Fur Coat makes fucking Loathing Persian somewhat viable. And now it's just like, nope. Sayonara. Like, nope. And so I just think this mon has a lot of, just hits like a bitch. It just hits so hard. And this is the mon I decided to make our Terra Captain as well. And so obviously we have to play Dragon type, which is cool. It makes Dragon Claw, like I said previously, actually viable. Or we could just use Outrage, and Outrage becomes a 240 power move off a 400 attack stat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we could just run Outrage, and like, if you resist Outrage, you're going to die. So obviously we ran it was Dragon. And I thought about Fairy, because like it did wonders for us in last season with Baxcalibur, and this is a very similar mon. We want to DD, we want to SD, we want to do stuff, but this one doesn't have exquisite priority. It has conditional priority in first impression, but it's not like Bax, where, like, you know, if you go watch a week 1 battle with Bax, we ran SD, Ice Shard, Never Melt the Ice, and you know, we could do like 60-70% to Walking Wake or something, right? Like, that mon is a little different. And so I opted on for Fairy, because I was like, well, I feel like what's gating Haxorus is this mon hits like a bitch, right? Especially if it's banded, it's easy. But if I want to set up and win with it, which I feel like is doable, like in a lot of games, I want a typing that's going to give me some resistances. Right? All I need is +1. Like, again, guys, look at, like, it's... This month's stats are so ill. 600 attack. 600 attack. If I get the 1 Dragon Dance up, all I need is the 1 Dragon Dance, right? Surely. So I went with Steel, because Steel lets us, like, set up on Fairy, set up on other dragons, you know? Yes, we're taking damage. It's not like Fairy, we're immune to dragons, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. And it already gets Iron Head. So... Oh, and Iron Tail, technically. But, like, it gets Iron Head, right? So... I don't need to run Terra Blast or anything. Like, I just rock my 30% chance flinch. It's like good. So, Dragon Steel, easy breezy. And then my last one, I could not decide. I ran some preliminary calcs. You know, preliminary, big word of the day. Use it. And I was just like, if I make this a fighting type, do I ever actually have to run a dragon move? Because, again, nothing is more frustrating than, like, I don't know, they send an Infernape, and Infernape just close combats you and you can't switch into it, right? So why can't Haxorus do that, you know? Just Terra, get the stab on close combat, it's a 180 power move then, off a 400 attack stat. right? Like, if I'm choice banded, I think Terra Fight would be fantastic. Um, and the calcs I did were like Fortress, right? Max Fortress, very standard stuff. And it was 2-shotting Fortress, a +1, which is equivalent to choice band, right? So I was like really excited to use fighting, because I thought fighting was good. And then I realized, I was like, fighting is like only good for choice band. And like, let's be honest. If I'm running choice band Haxorus, like, I might as well just be running Dragon with Outrage, you know? 240 base power move. Well, not base power, but, you know, with Stab and Terra and stuff. Like, I would rather just one-shot people like that. I think that's fair. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Also, Close Combat has 8 PP, so that's really easy to play around. So I decided not to do that. Let's not go fighting. Instead, I ran some other calcs, and then obviously stumbled upon our wonderful Mold Breaker ability, and realized, wait, these numbers look really good. And turns out what I came across was what every UU player came across when Haxorus is in UU right now. Apparently Haxorus just in UU currently, this is what it does. It comes in, it DDs in front of your face, like one DD, a singular DD, Terra grounds, and then starts earthquaking you because Earthquake Stab, and it's a 150 base power move. Well, not base, you know what I mean, right? With Stab. And you have Mold Breaker, so your Levitate mons don't exist. So you have to run a flying move. A flying Pokemon. But you best believe every flying Pokemon is going to die to a dragon move, right? It just will. Or you run Rock Slide. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so apparently that's what people do in UU currently. So I took that into consideration. I did some more calcs and came to the conclusion that, yeah, Terra Ground is way easier to use. It is way easier to use. It is way harder to play against. It does technically do less damage, but like, I think Terra Ground Band is cool. I think Terra Ground DD is cool. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's some options, right? That's just dodge Thunder Waves, I guess. Like, I don't know. But I think it's way easier to play. It also lets us fucking penetrate Rotom. Like, oh, pow! Completely penetrate Rotom, so fuck Rotom. That one is cancer to play against. So yeah. Instead, we went with Terra Ground. So it's Dragon, Steel, In-Ground, Terra for Haxorus. We're going to be using Shiny Haxorus every week. If I don't use it, please flame me in the comments, because Shiny Haxorus is so amazing. Okay, so that was I spent like 10 minutes talking about fucking Haxorus. This one's I'm really excited to use it. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm very excited. So then we had to move on. So we have a killer Steel type. We have a powerful Dragon type, and I was like, okay, we now probably need a Fairy type. You know, get the Fairy Dragon Steel core going. We had it last season, did extremely well, and I was like, well, last season we were carried super heavily by Vaporeon. Honestly, Vaporeon did amazing. She just Wish Pass, Baton Pass, all that good stuff. Gave us an immunity to a type, and I was like, wait, why don't we just do that again with Sylveon? So we did get Sylveon. I'm surprised that we got Sylveon. So yeah, this one is a very we've all seen it, right? It's Wish, Protect, Hyper Voice, you know what I'm saying? Hyper Voice with Pixelate, doing a lot of damage, which is very cool. It's much more offensive than Vaporeon, much more offensive than Florges. Pretty good stat spread, considering that, like, with 130 special defense, you just don't invest in it, and then you go Fizz Def and stuff is good. Okay, and then we get Baton Pass, which is fantastic. We did wonders with that last season. It gets Psyshock, it gets Psychick, it gets Yawn. It has some options. Has some options. I think it gets Shadow Ball too, right? It does, nice, right? It gets Calm Mind. Like, this mon can do a lot of things. And that's really exciting. And I think this pairs exceptionally well with Iron Treads, right? Iron Treads has a lot of utility moves, resists all the moves from Sylveon, and all that what you want to hit with Sylveon is very good. And it gives us Wish support, because the one thing Treads doesn't have is recovery. Fantastic. Same idea with Haxorus, right? If I'm Terra Steel Haxorus, and it's a good defensive game for Haxorus, like, Steel's going to the moon. Like, Wish into that guy is fantastic. So I'm very excited to use Sylveon. This mon, like, I mean, Shiny is actually pretty good too. this mon's pretty good. Like, this one's very good. This is like Vaporeon, but with a better typing. And a better offensive ability, and a better setup potential. And there's a lot of things. I've even seen, like, I've seen some interesting things with this mon. I've seen sub and stuff in Draft League, so we'll see what we can cook up with Sylveon. But that is our mandatory Wish Baton Pass user for the season. Then we move on to, I don't even know what tier this is. Green tier or something. Basically, what's happened now is we've moved into like the NU and RU Pokemon, and like we're running out of points. We're running out of points. It's not looking great. And we're still missing like a water type. Last season we have Vaporeon carried us like a motherfucker. So now we gotta get a water type. And so we picked up Quillfish. Yes, I know. We used Overquill last season, had extremely good success with Overquill. So I was like, well, we can't let Hisuian, I don't know. We can't let Hisui have all the fun. So we gotta use the Cantonian one. I think it's from Kanto. I don't even fucking know. You know what I mean. We gotta use the normal one, the OG one. And honestly, this one's been used plenty of times in draft format. I've seen it a lot. Honestly, its stat spread's not bad with Intimidate. It's relatively a bulky water. It's not bad. Has Intimidate, that's awesome. Has Swift Swim, like all this good stuff, right? This is all pretty good abilities. Even Poison Point, I think that's what they run in their current tier on Smogon is Poison Point. So people hate them, they just get poison. That's really cool. It does get Bob Barrage, so that's fucking awesome. It gets Spikes, right? Okay, didn't let me do the other one. It gets Toxic Spikes still, right? It actually has Stab on Water moves, which is good, you know. Poison Jab, oh good. It gets fucking SD. I've seen SD, like sub SD Quillfish, go crazy in draft mode, for sure. I've totally seen that. It's amazing. Super fun. Gets Thunder Wave and Toxic. This one's a pretty good support mon. It's no Slowbro. It's no Slowking. You know, it's not the best bulky water type in the world, but you know, it gets both hazards. It has Aqua Jet. It has Destiny Bond. It has some status. Has Bob Barrage new moves, so like that's also good for support. It's very good support wise. And then offensively, 95 attack is not too shabby when you know maybe make it with Swift Swim, SD, stuff like this. Like you can go to the moon for sure. You can do a lot of damage. Self-destruct, you know, can't be bad. Always fun, always fun, always fun. But yeah. We just kind of need a bulky water, and they go very fast in Draft League. Like Vaporeon will be right. Like Vaporeon goes reasonably fast. Slowking went extremely fast. Though Bro is like not bad, right? Like the bulky waters are hard to come by, and they tend to be expensive. This was very less expensive. It's still another fairy resist as well, which is cool. So I was like, okay, like let's try it. It can't be bad. It's good. It's also a poison type, which I thought was important because I don't want to get fucking Toxic Spikes. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't want to get fucking Toxic Spiked on. I don't want to get stacked on and die. So I decided just, okay, we'll just go Quillfish. No problem. I want to try it. Should be cool. Its shiny is actually not even that bad. So, yep, that's Quillfish. Then we got into our last. This is the category of like not the last tier pick, but like the last like Smogon tier then. Oh, well, if you want to be comparable, it's like Smogon tiers. We didn't really do it off Smogon tiers. Anyway, we picked Mischievous. If I could Terra Captain them on my team, like the lower tier ones, this would be one of them. I did not. I just really want to use Haxorus so bad, so fuck me, I guess. But I picked this mon because basically, I thought, you know, getting the Ghost type is good. Its speed tier is not bad considering the point total it was. It has Levitate, so it gives me 3 immunities just based off that. And to be honest, this mon has some, with Eviolite, is like not awfully tanky on the special, like awfully frail on the special side. And it gets all kinds of moves, dog. Like, look at this. We can just go through the list real quick, right? We got Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Draining Kiss, Energy Ball, Grass Knot, Memento, Nightshade, I guess, technically. Nasty Plot, Pain Split, Perish Son, Phantom Force, we're never running that shit. Power Gem, Psychic Psyshock, right? Taunt, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp, Trick. You get the idea. Like even Icy Wind and Magical Leaf, maybe, or maybe not Magical Leaf because it has fucking Energy Ball, right? Yeah. But like Icy Wind could have some tech. could be some tech to kill all those non-existent Gliscors, I guess. But you know what I mean? Like, this one has incredible moves, move pool for what it is, which is basically an NFE mon that is super ugly shiny. And yeah, like this one, it can run Eviolite, it could be, I don't know, it could be crazy stuff, right? It could be Suicide with like Memento and stuff, I don't know. But I thought this one was very good for its point value. And again, it's 3 immunities. It's always good to have a ghost type. We want to deny spin. And yeah, I think this is my Great Tusk counter, I've decided. I mean, Great Tusk can't really touch this other than knockoff, so it is what it is. So yeah, it's not very exciting, but it's. I think this one will be brought much more than you would think it would. So that's very exciting. Then we are into our final tier pick. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of like what kind of mons were in each tier, right? Like these are the caliber mons we're talking about. And this was the NFE tier, where there's a bunch of NFEs, if they were not previously stated. Don't worry, guys. Our GOAT Hatchrim, that, you know, kind of was a sicko smurf, last season, was not in this tier. I know, I had to tier it, respectfully and reasonably. It might have been overpriced, but either way, it's fine. I made sure that bitch was not the lowest point possible, you know what I'm saying? Like, that mon, it can do some things. So we picked up what I would say would be Hatchrim of this draft, and I'm far more excited to use this mon than Hatchrim. I was sleeping on Hatchrim. I was a Hatchrim hater, but I'm not a hater on this thing. This thing, Quilladin, that's what we picked up on our NFE spot. I think this mon's good. So first things first. Its typing is like okay. It's not great, you know. Pure grass is not perfect, but it's okay. You know, it's okay. Yeah, it's weak to U-turn, but you know, it's okay, right? So it's okay. And then we look at its stats. Okay, let's talk about stats. Its stats, 62 HP is like okay. It's helped that it gets leech seed and it gets synthesis, so has some recovery. The HP is like whatever. Okay, got 95 defense. That's pretty good actually, to be honest. Its speed tier is like whatever, considering that like again this one's gonna basically strictly be ran for support, so it is what it is. Almost 80 attack is honestly not that bad again, considering it's a mon that is not prioritizing attack. It's not great though. And the Spadef is not great, as you can see. It's not great, 236, but with a Violite, you get close to 400 special defense. Is that true? 103. Okay. Maybe not 300. Maybe not 400. Right? But you get like 350. It's not bad. HP. It's not bad. And so like I think this was gonna be very tanky. Then we get to its ability. Overgrow, useless. Bulletproof is cool because Bulletproof gives it some very niche counters or niche situations. So one would be like Amoonguss. Amoonguss can't hit me with Sludge Bomb. This wall is like Gengar, for example. Gengar just can't fucking touch it. It's immune to Sludge Bomb. And that's the big thing. Sludge Wave is not really a thing. I don't... Is it a thing? I think Glamora gets it. It's not very common in this Impowder decks. Sludge Bomb for coverage moves is. So being able to just void Sludge Bomb is awesome. Same with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is a good coverage move right now. Again, voided, not a big deal. Right? It blocks Focus Blast too. Like it blocks a whole host of things. It's just like it's kind of niche, but it's like not useless, right? Pyro Ball, it blocks Pyro Ball, so Cinderace, fuck you, I guess. It's really not that bad. It gives us some interesting switch-ins and stuff, right? Excuse me, I gotta drink some water. Obviously, we're just gonna run Eviolite every fucking week on this thing. I don't give a flying fuck. It's Eviolite every fucking game. Yeah. And so let's talk about this thing's moves, right? It gets Leech Seed, it gets Spikes. So right off the bat, it's good. It gets Super Fang. Oh, that's Substitute, but it does get Substitute. It gets Super Fang. Super Fang. We did it. Wow, amazing. Okay, we did that. It's cool. It gets Taunt. Right off the bat, these 4 moves are like pretty good utility. It gets Synthesis, which is nice. You know, it's cool. And it has like some random coverage moves. It gets pain spell, which I actually think is kind of interesting if we play like a specific kind of like very high HP target mons, if that makes sense. Um, he does get iron defense. If it got body press, I think this mon would be crazy with a violate, but it doesn't. It doesn't get curse and bulk up, so maybe there's like some setup shit we can cook with. That'd be very cool, very fun to use actually. I think. And he gets some coverage moves like low kick some coverage, poison jump some coverage, rock slide, the thunder punch is some coverage. Again, it's not perfect, but like it's like oh coverage move plus leech seed, like as long as they don't do that much damage to you, like we can wear them down kind of thing. I think this one's gonna be very fun. It's another spiker. Once again, we've kind of loaded up on spikes as the Wichita Weaviles, just like last season. I think we had like three spikers or something. I don't know. We loaded up though. Yeah, I think we did have 3 spikers. We for sure had 3 toxic spikers last season. We're spikes fans here. We loaded up on spikes, double spike stack. Only 1 rocker, but it is what it is, right? So after Quilladin, we had very limited points to fill out the next 5 mons or whatever it was, right? So the first pick after Quilladin was Tauros. This is another mon. If I could Terra, I would just make this bitch Terra normal and then fucking cook everyone. I make this thing like Terra normal, fairy, and fighting, and then like stab close combat because I got close combat this gen, and I would cook everyone. Yeah, so we actually picked up the regular Tauros, which I think people are sleeping on because of all the Paldea forms. And the Paldea forms of Tauros are very cool. They have typings. You know, the fire one has like they have new typings, and the fire one has Will-O-Wisp, and the water one has what is it called? Water moves. You know, like I think it's good, right? They get body press and stuff. Like it's very good. But people are sleeping on the OG Tauros, and I cannot have this blasphemy going on in my league. So we're here to make sure everyone knows about the fucking OG goat that was Tauros, or that still is Tauros. You know, he's rocking the 100 attack. You're like, oh, that's not very impressive. Well, he had the 110 speed tier, so he's busting like that, bitch. And then you got Intimidate, that's a fantastic ability. Sheer Force, which makes this guy hit like a bitch, because then we can just run Life Orb and take no damage with Life Orb, so that's fantastic. We get, what is it, 1.6 multiplier, then stab and shit. Like, my body presses be hurting in this bitch. Oh, so fantastic, so perfect. And then, it does get Anger Point. I will say, recently, there's been a lot of auto-crit abilities. That's all I gotta say. Mr. Urshifu, I'm looking at you, right? Like, shout out to the one guy that ran Frost Breath or something, right? Like, we got some, maybe it's useful. I want to put money on it. Yeah, I think this mon's good. I think this mon with Life Orb hits like so hard. And it has like, excuse me, I'm dying. Has Earthquake, has Close Combat, has Iron Head, right? Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Wild Charge, Trailblaze, Zen Headbutt. Like, these are good moves. And then it does have some specifics, right? So like, Flamethrower and Fire Blast back in the day was really good to catch things like Ferrothorn, because we have Sheer Force, so we just get the free multiplier on it, right? So stuff like that, like it has Ice Beam for stuff like Landorus, right, or whatever the fuck. Like you can use this mod in OU and be okay, right? Kind of vibe. I'm pretty excited to use this mod. People really are hating. I cannot believe they're hating on this mod. And I think this mod is pretty good choice scuff as well. The speed tier is really good. While it doesn't have the perfect coverage, it's still not great to switch into because, you know, you have Earthquake and Close Combat, and now, just like the other Tauroses, while their move is Fire, Water, you know, whatever, we have Raging Bull, which is still just a base 90 normal attack move, which is fine. It's way better than Body Slam if we're not running like Life Orb and Sheer Force and all those shenanigans. And it auto-destroys screens, so that's awesome. That is fantastic. Like, you know, we you know, last season we ran a couple break mons, you know, so we know the power of screens. And then we won finals with screens. Like, we know the power of screens. So the ability to auto-break screens, big fan of that. Big fan of that. And again, this thing is Intimidate. So worst case scenario, dog, like, it's just an Intimidate user, a little Intimidate core with this plus, I was gonna say Overquill. That's not the right season. what is it called? Quillfish. Oh my goodness. Don't I guess. By like by the end of the season, I would I'll have that shit down pat. So, right, like I think this one could do some work. I really do. I think it would be very fun. I think it would be very fun. It's a really good speed tier. Gives us a normal type, so we don't get last respect spammed on. No, that's obviously banned this season. I made sure of that because back to back prepping for that shit was crazy. Was absolutely insane. But yeah, I'm excited to use Tauros. It's kind of just a wall breaker, revenge killer kind of vibe. Like, it's gonna be good. Then we loaded up after Tauros. I was like, hey, I really don't want to play a game. I don't want to play a season like we did last season, where like we only had one rapid spinner. Yes, we had Hatchrim that would bounce it back, but like that is not always the most secure way to deal with hazards. So I was like, I need another defogger. And again, we're kind of low on points, okay? Like, we still gotta fill 2 more slots out. Like, it's not looking great. And so I was like, oh, like, let me pick up Oricorio Pom Pom. I think Oricorio Pom Pom is actually good. Like, I think this one is crazy good. It has Zapdos typing, which is insanely good. Like, it's just like, what? Like, it's so good. It gets defog. It gets baton pass, you know. So if you just wanna, you know, make some not priority, make some momentum for you, you can do that. It gets Hurricane, which we all know is just irritating to play against. Revelation Dance, which is electric type in this form. So now it has Thunderbolt, because that's basically what this is. Base power of Thunderbolt plus Hurricane coverage. Ah, yes, Zapdos, Thundurus T, yes. Very weak Pokemon, I think. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are good coverage moves. This is good coverage. Quiver Dance to boost it, so like unplayable. Has Roost, that's incredibly good. Taunt, pretty good as well, and has U-turn, even more momentum. So like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this mon is pretty good. Again, it really abuses its typing when it comes to bulk. Like, you can just do physically defensive, and then you can QD or something like this. I don't know. But yeah, also this ability. If I play correctly, if someone Quiver Dances in my face, I copy it. If someone, I don't know, Dragon Dances, I copy it. And yeah, like, I'm not going to use the attack, but I'm going to get speed. So if I'm faster than it than originally, like, we can navigate that. The speed tier of 93 is, like, also pretty good. I think it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's not bad. I do think this one also could just be really nice offensively. I think this one also gives us a really good matchup into Rain. I don't even know if someone drafted Rain, but like, just when I see that mon, I think like, oh, if I face Pelipper, like, Revelation Dance Electric plus Hurricane, like stuff like that, right? So I think that's good. Again, I really didn't want to play the game. I didn't want to play the season with Treads be my only spinner, because last season we only had Toadstool as a spinner, and it was fine. He did a good job. Obviously, it was a good job. He ran boots a lot of the time and stuff, and he did the thing. But I felt like, especially on a mon like Treads has a lot of moves it can have. So I don't want to force it to have spin every week, or you know what I mean. So it's just more versatility. I think it's cool. I think if you could tear this one, it would be crazy good. But we're not tearing that. We're hitting people with fucking insane asinine Haxorus hits, I've decided. Then we move on. And as you guys know, last season we did Wish Pass. We had Wish Pass. We had Spike Spam, Toxic Spike Spam, a lot of immunities. And to make sure no one could sweep us, we ran Unaware on Quag, because we need to win. And so, when we were down on our points, this is still not the NFE tier, this is a different point tier, I was like, hey, I would like a mon that has Unaware, because I don't want to get set up on and lose the game every single time. And so I was like, oh, what about Crocalor? Because I've never used this mon, obviously. I use Skeleditch all the time, though. I'm a huge Skeleditch fanboy. And, like, that's a decent special attack stat. I did think I got Torch on, so when I drafted this thing, I thought I got Torch on. It does not. So I don't really know how this is ever going to do damage. But I think defensively, this mon has some interesting supportive qualities. Again, Pure Fire is not a great defensive type, but stuff like Arcanine does it, you know, because Arcanine has Intimidate. So like I think like Crocodile with Unaware is nice, and then we're gonna obviously want to Eviolate every fucking week, obviously. So I think it's pretty good. A lot of fire moves, as you can see. It does get Slack Off. That's important. It gets Will-O-Wisp. Very good as well. Like these two moves right off the bat make it like basically these two moves plus Unaware make this Mon at least viable in like half of matches. You know what I mean? Like they're just very insane. Then we have Roar, which I think is good because like yes, we have Unaware and stuff, but like bro, we got a couple spike setups. Maybe we set up some spikes. We just like spam Roar or something. I don't know, but like it lets like all the submons. Then the submons can't beat us too, right? So I think Roar is like super nice. We did not have a lot of phasing last season from us, so I think that's cool. Yeah, and like and then so like whatever. Like even Snarl, which sounds like a troll move, but I know in VGC like defensive Arcanine uses Snarl a lot because it lowers their special attack by 1. And while that doesn't have effect on us because we have Unaware, what happens if I can just switch out into something else? Oh yeah, let me just go into my Haxorus, set up on you. Well, like, imagine I just Will-O-Wisp your Mon and then Snarl your Mon. It does no damage. I go into Haxorus, set up and win or something. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think this Mon has some interesting uses. It's not Skeledirge. It's not like Hex spam and Torch Son spam. I really thought I got Torch Son. It does not. So that's very embarrassing. But you know, I believe in my little bro. Okay, I believe in this guy. Looks like fire corn on the cob on this hat here. I believe in him. He's gonna do great things. Okay, little popcorn man maybe. Okay, anyway, I think it'll be good. I think with 80 HP and Eviolite, he'll be able to take some fucking hits. Finally, last but not least, I wanted a Mon that would just do damage. Because I know like a lot of Mons here, Crocodile, even Pom Pom, and then we have like Quilladin, Mischievous, and Quillfish. Like we have a lot of like, look at my supportive moves, my utility. Oh, I'm tanky because of Eviolite. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, they're gonna do some damage. Yes, they're gonna put on pressure in their own way. But I want something that can literally like, oh, I'm gonna click a move now, and like damage will happen in theory. And so if we're kind of back into like the mid-tiering amount, like the midpoint tier again, and like a lot of obviously, but this is our last pick. I have the drafted is in order, so everyone picked all the Mons. It was looking pretty barren, and then I was like, yo, what happens if I just take Tatsugiri? Because like Tatsugiri's typing is so good, it's so good, and it has Storm Drain, which gives us a water immunity, which helps us against I don't know, rain matchup, helps us against Vaporeon, Bulky Waters, rain matchup, and then also it helps us against the notorious Walking Wake, which someone will always draft in a league, helps us against Volcanion, right? Like it has good typing, good ability, and it's another Rapid Spinner, which is not great. Like obviously I'm not picking it for Rapid Spin, but again, I appreciate the fact that Treads will not be the only Rapid Spinner in the game on my team, so it's a net positive. And it does have some unique moves, okay? It has Taunt. That's awesome. Nasty Plot. Fantastic. Memento is okay. Hydro Pump. Respectable. And Baton Pass. That's what we got. Like, it doesn't have a lot of moves. Miracle, Icy Wind, Counter, I guess. Like, that's about it. It's a handful of moves. His move pool is pretty bad. But his typing's good, its ability's good. Its stats are pretty decent as well. Yeah. You don't know. Maybe I'll just specs this every week or something. Click Hydro Pump. See what happens. I mean, surely it does a fuck ton of damage, right? So, but what am I gonna... Nah, surely we gotta rock the orange one, right? Like, this is kind of fucking ugly, no cap. This just looks like the Midas touch gone wrong. So, I think we're rocking with this one. But yeah, that is our team for the PBO Season 3, the third season of the PBO. I'm gonna keep messing up the fucking conjugation of that. But anyway, the champs are back. Season 2, baby, that's us. We're here to defend our title. We're here to beat some ass, take some names, and have some fun while doing it. So, with that, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be a team builder video. Well, there might be some more Pokemon Sapphire being uploaded, so Go watch that, I guess. Go watch me play the Pokemon Sapphire. That's a much more different vibe than me just fucking cursing at Pokemon because I missed my moves. Much more relaxed, much more chill, much more me getting lost and don't know what the fuck's happening, fucking up encounters and whatnot. But yeah, go watch that shit. But yeah, the next PBO video you'll see will be me. Will probably be a team builder video. If not, I might schedule some content with some other people. Maybe I might just go through the whole PBO draft of our division or whatever and just look at like all that drafts. I could do that. I could also do that on stream. So maybe you should follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/nightmarehall. So you can do that too. All one word. Not a big deal. Anyway, more importantly, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Yeah, thank you for your support last season, and hopefully y'all stick with us and get us, tell your friends and family, all the Pokemon lovers you know about us. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys. Bye.